It's my birthday, or it will be by the time I decide to post this. I used to really struggle with self-portraits, and it wasn't until 2 to 3 years ago that I really started to get into it. And while I've done quite a few that I've liked since, mostly for assignments and stuff, last year for my birthday, I decided to do a mini stylized self-portrait of myself. And it was great because I got to do some things that I don't usually do. I took an actual photo of myself next to the mural in my bedroom looking at the mirror, and in the mirror I drew myself in my cartoony, what I like to call my Disney style, because it's really stylized. It's the one I usually do for comic books. It's one of, if not the favorite picture I've ever drawn of myself, and it's my profile picture on social media. I liked it so much that I told myself it was going to be a bit of a tradition every birthday, and the time has come. By the time September 1st hit, I really wanted to start working on it, especially since I've decided to completely redo my website. On September 17th, I will stop using my current website builder, and I'm going to decide to move to another website and kind of start fresh. And so I decided this would be the perfect time to reorganize myself. I'm going to do more art. I'm going to fix up some pieces that I want to keep. I'm going to just get rid of some of the ones that I don't think match my style anymore. And I thought, with my birthday portrait coming up, that I would try to do some things that are a bit different that I've been doing in my other projects, but that I never do for myself personally. So that kind of brings me to why I'm doing a seemingly Rococo style portrait of myself. Over the past year, I guess you could say 2 years, I've always been really obsessed with history, but lately I've been trying to get into fashion history, and I've been doing art history inspired portraits a lot, and I thought, hey, I could make one of myself with the picture of me and my skeleton son from a few Halloweens ago that I've been meaning to draw. It's been on my Facebook profile for a while. It's the only one that I haven't changed to my other portrait because I just love my little skeleton so much. And I never drew it, even though I told myself I was going to. So this kind of went through a couple iterations. I bought this little mini skeleton at Target for I think $10 or $5. I don't remember right now, but it was cheap. And I really loved how tiny he was. And I called him my son. I named him Vincent after Vincent Price. No questions will be asked. And I don't have him right now because he's in storage. But when I bought him, I took a picture of him and obviously myself at the foyer of the apartment building that I used to live at. And I loved it so much that I told myself I was going to draw it as the Pietà. Now, when I first started this project, I had a whole Pinterest board dedicated to just pictures of the Pietà, like statues or paintings of the subject matter. But while I was going through it, I was like, there's no color. And while I could make it as colorful as I wanted to, I kept changing my view into it being like a historical portrait instead, because that kind of matches the themes of other pieces that I have. And so here we are with some kind of pseudo Halloween Pietà skeleton self-portrait. I don't know what else to call it. Basically, I have a whole Pinterest board that's just Pietà statue images, Rococo portraits, Ignacy Monreal images from his Gucci collection campaign drawing thing, whatever, and this self-portrait of me in my little witch hat from Target. And as I am editing this video right now, I actually just bought some cardstock paper so that I could see if I can do prints on it, and I have already printed the finished piece of this in a really small 5x7 little thing that I'm going to put on my wall, because why not? I take Halloween very seriously in this house, especially since my birthday's in September. Also, as you can see, I did change up the color in this portrait a lot so that everything could be more cohesive. So yes, I made my skeleton son pink, and I made my hat blue and my glasses blue, because those glasses were originally a really bright red and they just didn't match anything, but I love how it looks so far. I did originally consider to make the dress black, since the clothes that I was wearing in the original photo were all black. And, they would kind of match the whole skeleton thing that I have going on. But I kept looking at Rococo portraits, and everything was just so bright and colorful, which is what most of my art tends to look like. I don't usually draw black clothes either. So that's kind of why I kept switching it up and going over it in blues and teals, trying to figure out what color best matched the portrait. I ended up just picking a really light blue for my accents in the dress and, the glasses and stuff. And I tried to pick a color that really matched the background. And that's why I ended up making my skeleton son pink instead, because when I originally painted it, he just blended in to the background. And that was not the point of this portrait. As you can see, I kind of live my life in a very over the garden wall kind of way, as in, what time period am I actually doing? I'm very anachronistic, so I kept trying to figure out what I could write in this little ribbon that I have here. And originally I was actually going to put a 70s song lyric in there, but I decided not to go with that because it felt too unrelated. So I ended up just putting a line from The Last Unicorn, which is one of my favorite books. I admittedly didn't do any color comps for this, any real research, because I kept changing my mind as I went along with it. This isn't for a client or for anything, it's just for me. So I kind of felt like I could get away with that. So it went through a lot of iterations, and I'm really happy with the finished product. But I did not stop there, and I actually made a second, more stylized portrait the second I was done with this. Obviously, I really love this one, and it is my main portrait for my birthday this year, but I had so much fun last year that I decided to do something pretty similar. Since I used real life elements last year, I decided to take a picture of myself outside and sort of replace my actual face in the picture with a drawing like I did last year, except this time it was more 3D than looking in the mirror kind of thing. Basically, the other portrait is more serious, and this one's just plain silly because I wanted to animate it so that she's blinking, and by she, I mean animated me. And as you can probably tell from the picture that was literally just on the screen earlier, I took a reference photo of me doing the same pose so that I could sketch it out. It wasn't exact or anything, since once again, this one's more stylized, but I had a lot of fun. It's kind of a shame that the software doesn't let me show it to you in a cleaner way instead of just zooming in so you can see the animated version of it. But I will put this up on my website in my About Me section, and I'm really proud of it. Anyway, happy birthday to me, and here's both of the portraits. Thanks for watching.